Ada for refusing to eat the ritual meal my boyfriend's mom cooked for me.
Guys, this is a wild ride. Hold on to your seats and put your seatbelt on. Listen, if you ever encounter anyone who wants to make you eat a certain thing to prove your love, or if they want to make you do anything like hazing to prove your love, do not do it. But let's get into the story and see how this woman handles this situation. I, 22F, have been dating my boyfriend, Alex, 23M, for about a year. His family is super into traditions, not just cultural ones, but their own weird, hyper-specific family traditions that they take very seriously. I always found it kind of quirky and fun until this weekend, when things got really uncomfortable. Alex's mom invited me over for dinner, saying she wanted to officially welcome me into the family. I thought this meant a nice meal and some sentimental toasts or something. Nope. When I arrived, they led me to the dinner table, where there was a huge pitch-black pie sitting in the center. Like, completely black. It looked burned, but it didn't smell burned. The whole family was watching me with big, expectant smiles, and Alex's mom said, "We all eat the dark pie when someone becomes one of us." I nervously asked what was in it, and they all laughed like I just told the funniest joke ever. Alex squeezed my hand and whispered, "Just eat it, babe. It's part of the tradition." I cut a small piece, and the texture was wrong. It was dense, sticky, and had an almost fibrous quality, like biting into something that wasn't entirely food. It tasted sweet, but with this weird, bitter, metallic aftertaste. I literally gagged and put my fork down. His mom's smile immediately dropped. The room got dead silent. Then she said in a completely serious voice, "You have to finish your slice, or you won't be truly one of us." At this point, I was freaked out. I told them I appreciated the effort, but that I wasn't comfortable eating something if I didn't even know what was in it. Alex got super embarrassed and hissed, "Why are you making this weird?" I asked again what was in the pie, and his dad sighed and said, "It's a secret family ingredient. But don't worry, it's natural." That made it worse. What the hell does that even mean? I refused to eat anymore, and his mom looked like she wanted to stab me with my own fork. She mumbled something under her breath in their language, then abruptly got up and left the table. Alex later told me I was disrespectful and that I should have just eaten the pie to keep the peace. He said his mom thinks I'm not committed to their family and that she doesn't know if she can trust me now. I honestly don't know if I overreacted. It was just a weird situation, and I feel like I had every right to know what I was eating. Ada. Like I said, this is a wild ride, but you can see where it goes dark and everybody's standing around the table. My God, that could have been anything in that pie blood. A piece of a finger from a dead relative, anything. And what do you think about this relationship? Do you think this is something sustainable? Because it seems really weird and out there like, you're needing to run, as a matter of fact. Most of the comments told her to run for the hills, but go ahead and listen up and add your comments. Tell me what you think about this. And have you ever had this happen to you? Go ahead and sound off in the comments and comment and share.
I, 28F, found out my husband, 29M, has been telling his coworkers that I'm his sister. What do I do? Please help.
This one is a little bit crazy, y'all, so buckle up and let's get into the story. And her preliminary update is here as well. Throwaway account. My husband, I'll call him Josh, and I have been together for 6 years, married for 4, and we don't have kids. We have a really healthy and communicative relationship. We're both pretty easygoing, and I really love him. He started working at a large accounting firm about 3 years ago, and from what he tells me, he loves it there. He's made a lot of friends through his job, and he goes out with them for drinks and social events quite often, and I've been totally okay with that. I'm quite introverted, so I've never been interested in meeting his colleagues or work friends, nor have I asked to. I've got my own circle of friends, and I'm fine with us having separate friend groups. After what happened yesterday, it only just occurred to me that he has never actually asked me if I'd like to meet any of them or go to one of his work events. I guess that's important context. Anyway, I'll start with what happened a few months ago that I had brushed off until now. I was at a bar with some friends for a couple of Friday after work drinks, and a guy approached me. He was there with some friends, too. He looked slightly familiar, but I hadn't met him before. He seemed friendly enough, and he asked me, "My name, right?" I think I must have just given him a confused look because he followed up with, "I'm Jake. I work with Josh." I realized that I recognized him from some photos on my husband's phone. I don't use social media except for a private Instagram, so I'm not sure if he posted the photos anywhere, but we've got a very trusting relationship, so I look in his photos sometimes. Don't hate me. This is where it gets a bit embarrassing. I'm a bit socially awkward, and so I struggled to end the conversation, but he just kept talking at me. I guess he was already a couple of beers deep. But while he was talking, he said something like, "It's great that you guys are still so close. I haven't talked to my brother in ages." At the time, I was like, huh? But I just assumed he was drunk and not making sense, so I ignored it. He started to get a little flirty, so I turned to my friends and we left shortly after that. I didn't say anything to them about it, and it didn't seem like a big deal to me. I also decided not to tell my husband that I had met his coworker Jake. Not to hide it, but because I figured the guy wouldn't even remember talking to me, and I didn't want to make it awkward for Josh at work by telling him his colleague tried to hit on me. I just thought no harm, no foul. But yesterday morning, I was out walking our dog Monty. He's a cross between a few breeds and has very unique markings. This matters, I promise. And was on my way to my regular cafe, which is in town. I was waiting in line to order, and the guy in front was an older man. He got his coffee and turned around, but stopped and looked at my dog and goes, "Hello, Monty." Monty was super excited to see him, apparently, and so I guessed that the guy was another colleague of Josh's, because Josh brings the dog to the office a couple of times a week. I thought it was sweet, to be honest, so I smiled at him and said hi. He introduced himself. I guessed correctly that he was a colleague, but then he said something like, "Aren't you a good sister walking his dog for him?" Watch out for part 2, this one got long.
I, 28F, found out my husband, 29M, has been telling his coworkers that I'm his sister. What do I do? Please help.
And here's the first update, y'all. It's just a tiny one. Asterisk, asterisk, edit, asterisk, asterisk. Holy fuck. Thank you, everyone who commented with some advice. I haven't read all of them, but I really appreciate the suggestions from you guys. A small update, Josh came home at about 2:30 a.m. last night, but he was drunk, so he just went straight to sleep, which is fine by me because fuck having this conversation in that state. I've just woken up, but he's still sleeping. First thing I just want to clear up. I've seen a lot of people suggesting I have crippling social anxiety or am severely introverted, which I suppose you could glean from the way I explained what happened, but I'm not. I meant that I'm slightly introverted and that I'm not the most eager to meet lots of new people at once, especially a bunch of finance bros whose weekends consist of unending sports bar beers, where I assume I would be mansplained everything until my ears bleed. Prob a negative assumption, but I'm sure some of you know what I mean. I suppose you could say that I'm confrontation averse, in that I'm quite laid back and prefer to keep a conversation easy and positive, IDK. I don't like it when things are awkward, and correcting when people misrecognize me is one of those things, but I'm not terrified of confrontation. Also, my husband and I do share some mutual friends. I didn't explain that well, but our lives are not entirely separate. The way he acts towards me around our mutual friends is extremely affectionate and normal. It is only his work friends that I have never interacted with. I've also seen some people suggest that what is going on is equivalent to my husband beating me and me hopelessly wondering whether I should break up with him, or that I'm stupid for thinking my relationship was healthy when it clearly isn't. Like, damn, cut me some slack. I'm a real person, and this is an entirely alien and bizarre situation for me. My first reaction wasn't to assume the worst, but I do appreciate that you all have made me certain that it is a big deal. I guess I needed confirmation that the things that happened are enough proof that Josh has been purposefully lying, and they weren't just mix-ups. I'm going to talk to him today and ask him directly why he's telling his coworkers that I'm his sister. I followed the advice of writing my points down so that they don't get lost if I get emotional, LOL. I will do my best not to let him slither out of it, and I hope he has some proof that his colleagues know I'm his wife. I know that's not the theatrical confrontation you guys were hoping for, but it's a Saturday, and I can't wait. Wish me luck. Thank you all. So we'll just have to wait for the further update to see if we get one.